Morning, everybody, and welcome to the first Business Spotlight interview of the year, 2026. Fantastic, and we've got Jack Wilson from Wilson Estate Agents. Hello, Jack.
Hi, you're right.
I'm good. Jack, tell us all about your business.
Okay, so I'm from Wilson Estate Agents. We are an estate agents based in Bolsover. We do residential sales, property management, and new home sales. And we're actually 80 years old this year, so long established in Bolsover.
80 years.
80 years,
That
yeah.
is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Not many businesses will say 80 years. So, who actually founded the business?
So it was my great granddad Leslie. He then passed it on to his son Tony, my granddad, then my dad, and then my dad since retired. So it's now with myself. So yeah, four generations.
You're the fourth generation. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, we were chatting beforehand, and you thought to yourself when you were slightly younger, not that you're old now, that you didn't want to take the business on. So just tell us a bit about that journey and how you actually started and where you went from and where you are now.
Yeah, never an interest of mine. Never on my agenda to uh, come into the estate agency. I kind of set up, well, I've had businesses since I say businesses, projects and bits and bobs since I think my first one was about 13 years old, reselling hosting online. And I kind of got a penchant for running things and thinking, oh, this could be this. And then I went off to university, and I've always had an interest in clothing, and I set up a clothing company in university. So the guy who lived opposite me, he printed t-shirts. So I came up with the designs, um, and basically went in, printed them, and started selling them. So I can remember launching and being sat in a lecture at uni, and my phone started pinging off, and I think I made about £3,000 in an hour. When I dropped this launch, and I'm thinking, oh, this making money business is easy. It's quite fun. And thought, well, that's me. I'm just going to keep doing this sort of thing for the rest of my life. Don't need a job. Then anyway, circumstances changed. I went out to America, so that business kind of died when I was coaching soccer in LA. Came back and thought, oh, I need a job. So I started working in marketing, selling 3D CAD software to engineering firms, and I loved it. Really enjoyed it. It was a really well-run business. It's since sold out. Actually, I spoke to one of the MDs probably a few months ago about something. Really nice chap. He lives in Spain now, so they've kind of scaled, sold, and enjoying a nice sunny life. So that was kind of my plan, was to grow within marketing there, and then any projects I'd kind of do on the side. Then one day, my dad rang me and said, "Can you come and help out?" One of his valuers had left to go to join Purple Bricks. This was in the time when they were really emerging and going for it. So this is 10 years ago. So I thought, well, I never used to take holidays. I like working, so I had holiday days at my job. So I put in a couple of weeks, came to help, and I was kind of blown away, to be fair. We've come from this company that had 40, 50 staff, technical support, marketing department, sales departments, ran nicely, efficiently using systems. And I came in and they shared one computer in the office. They had one diary, which was literally a paper diary they left on the end of one desk. Um, and everything was in filing cabinets. So, for example, if someone rang and inquired about a property, I'd have to pop them on hold, go and try and find the file, and it'd have a picture on the front and scrattered notes about viewings, who to contact, feedback. And I kind of said after like a couple of days, how on earth have you ran like this? It's completely alien to me. So I kind of went away and thought there's a lot that needs to be done here. And I think that's the reason I ended up staying. So I went back to my old job and I handed my notice in to come and work here full time. And it was the project more than anything. I thought there's something I can really get my teeth stuck into. use kind of what I'd learned about systems, IT, CRM systems, visual identity, marketing, and put all this in place. And it was a slow burn. The reason being, I think when you have small businesses, and not wrongly by any sense, but every penny is accounted for. And I think the difference between me and my dad is I'm quite happy to, within reason, spend to accumulate revenue and improve efficiencies. But on the bottom line, it just looks as an increased expenditure. So there was always a bit of push pull in. I think that we need this, we need this. And be like, well, we don't. We've always done it this way. I'm like, yeah, but that is going to burn out very quickly. So it was a case of aligning all the visual identity, putting a CRM system in place, getting everybody their own laptop so they didn't have to share. Bear in mind there was only three of us, to be fair, my dad, myself, and Haley. I kind of fell in love with the idea of building this business. And since then, I mean, we had a meeting the other day with a really large company, mortgage mortgage provider, and they were even blown away by our kind of tech stack and our operations, our integrations with AI. I think they were quite amazed that this little office in a mining town operates in such a manner. So, I mean, going back then, now we're up to 10 staff from three. We sell 200 odd properties a year from 40. We manage 350 from 50. So we've effectively 6x everything operationally, and consequently revenues have been driven. Of course, expenditure's gone up, but in terms of our margin, we're healthy. And I think that was the one thing that has helped with having that frugal approach. If frugal's the right word for my dad, where it was kind of don't get carried away. And I heard an interesting point in our job. There's kind of agents that have the moment, um, and they go up and down and up and down. And you do with the economy. Obviously, post COVID, we were doing great, but any man and his dog could have sold a property for over asking price in a few minutes. It was that good, and it's when the market then comes quieter, takes real clarity and thinking, how can we manage this process? And I think the consistency and longevity really does count. It's lovely being able to throw loads of marketing budget at properties, but ultimately you don't get paid until they sell. So you could be spending a lot of money to sell a property, making it look great, but if the market's not there, it doesn't sell. That's a cost to your business. So it's kind of balancing the two, being thoughtful in your marketing, but being conscious of where that comes back in terms of cash flow. And obviously, it's long-term cash flow for residential sales because you list the property, average time to sell, then average time to complete. You're not seeing that money for 6 to 9 months in a lot of occasions.
Yeah.
So it's that's a long answer to a very simple question there, wasn't it? I can only
No,
apologise.
no, it's brilliant because
It's
it
a
tells a
big
story. It tells lots of stories there, and I think one of the keys thing there, you actually came in, fell in love with it, but you systemised the business.
It was always a conscious thing. You can't scale. There's two ways I see businesses do this. They either scale and then the systems fail them and it causes friction, or you can systemize the business to allow you to scale. Now, it is costly in a sense because you haven't quite got the revenue at scale. But again, doing it very consciously helps you create that balance. So, one of the things we've run in an agency is the market is inconsistent, it's cyclical in nature. Sales can be here, they can be here, they can be here. If you rely solely on that income, it puts your business in a precarious position. Now, your property management is by and large very constant. You're getting your management fees. So what I realised is we are in Bolsover. There's only a certain amount of geography we can go after. Always concentrate on depth as opposed to width. We're quite lucky that we do pick them up outside of area, and it's great. It's a bonus. But the fundamentals to having that longevity is having a really good, solid lettings business. Now, what we used to do is when we get payments from tenants to then pay out to landlords, that was a manual exercise. There'd be spreadsheets, people would do the calculations, they'd log into the bank and they'd pay them out. Now, it's not scalable. You need a member of staff, pretty much a full-time job, just doing payments all day, every day. So we implemented a technology which is automatic payment reconciliation. So a job that would take one member of staff a day now takes 5 minutes, which is great and it's efficient, but it also allows us to then purchase other rental companies and run them as efficient as we would with the same amount of staff. So back last year, I purchased the rental book of a local agent. So it's income straight in that we can manage because our systems allow us to without having to take on three more members of staff. So in effect, there is a certain cost that's attributed to managing that book, but it's very minimal in terms of what we've already got. So that's kind of one of the fundamentals is making sure that our scalability allows to increase revenue. And another thing we've got in at the minute is by building really slowly, that's the benefit that we've had from that kind of bootstrapping effect. We've got another project that we're working on internally, which we're now doing a lot of work with new home developers, and that's paying dividends. But we've now got the scalability to do that. So before it was kind of me doing everything: photography, viewings, valuations, checkouts, the website. I was spread too thin. Now I'm very fortunate that we've got myself and 9 other members of staff that can be experts in them areas, which has now allowed one of the girls who's in the office, she came in as an apprentice, incredible. She's now going to we're going to devise a new role for new homes. So she can solely concentrate on that. She's kind of cutting her teeth at the minute. She's on site with a company that we're working with. So she's learning from really all aspects of how it works. She's done the estate agency. She's in on site doing the sales. And now it's kind of, right, the next trajectory for her will be this little project. And I think that's the exciting thing where we're kind of a flat pyramid. So you're kind of bringing people in, and speaking for her, and I've had conversations with her. She could outgrow this company, and in which case, I'd be really reticent to let her go. But it'd be, you can do more, go on, do what you need to do. And I feel it's quite nice now that we can offer an opportunity and a project for her to get her teeth into, and that's been another learning curve, and it's nice to be able to grow and see these people coming in and growing as well at that same rate.
That's fantastic. That's a wonderful story. Absolutely wonderful story. Sort of systems, scaling at the right pace, bringing it in, bringing the right people onto the right seats on the bus, and then the success stories of an apprentice coming in and growing. I mean, that's what SMEs do, which is absolutely fantastic. Great SMEs do, and that's absolutely fantastic. So, projecting forward, what do you see as the biggest challenge that you might face?
Oh, I feel like I should have an answer to this, but because by not telling, not being able to say, it kind of says that we're in fairyland and everything's great. It's not the case. I think there's always micro challenges day to day running a business, so they're never going to go away. The biggest challenge, I don't know. I think because of the pace we've done everything and everything's been conscious and thought out, we've overcome every challenge. And I can see that if we face with something, then we'll take stock, we'll make a decision, and then we'll move forward. So there's nothing that I can immediately say. Oh, I mean, like anything, the government, there's more compliance, more this, more that. Generally, it costs you more time and more money, but you have to do it and you find a way. It just complicates matters. But again, having them processes in place means you can just drop in that element along your customer journey. So, for example, I mean, it's not really a challenge, but anti-money laundering, it's all systemized now. So when we do our onboarding, it's all a click of a button, it's all digitalized, it's all done, we're all compliant. So for us to be having that process in place, it makes them challenges a lot easier. If we didn't, it starts to become a headache. So I think we've kind of set ourselves up to mitigate any challenges on that respect. I mean, the market's always a challenge. Economies, interest rates drive up, people aren't going to move. But again, it's being conscious that, well, where can we drive other revenue streams from? Where are the consistent revenue streams? Where are the inconsistent ones? And how can we safeguard that for a rainy day? Best case, worst case, mid case, and I think it's not getting too carried away that on the market's fantastic, it's going to be like this for the next 10 years. You're doing loads of revenue in house sales, and then when it drops, you go, oh, I'm in the. So I think it's just conscious building constantly. It is hard to mitigate any of them challenges, and then other ones you do what business owners do. It comes to you and you deal with it as of then. I mean, COVID, what a challenge. Who would have known that that would have come about? I mean, I can remember getting to the business to a point where I thought, yeah, everything's great. And then moments very seldom and don't last for too long, and they come crashing down a few days later normally. But I can remember getting to a point where I thought things are going fantastic, and then next thing you can't run any business, and you sit there and you think, what on earth is going to happen? People started pulling out of properties, rightly so. They didn't know what was going to happen. And then nobody could have told you what was going to happen coming out the back of it. The market was absolutely ballistic. I'd walk into someone's house, they'd have an expectation of asking price. It would be more, and I'd be able to sell it before I walked back to my car. And then it was on to the next. We had one property left to sell. We had pictures in the window at that time, and we couldn't fill the window. Everything was sold, and you were just chasing your tail. It'd follow a pattern. Value, put it on the market, sell it for over asking price, bidding more, onto the next one. And it was chaos. And then after the mini budget, it just, the tap got turned off. And I was doing valuations at the time. I no longer do them. We've managed to get someone in to do that, which has been helpful to work more on the business as opposed to in it. And I was valuing properties where people were going, I don't know if I can afford to live in here anymore because my mortgage is going to go up 4%. And then in effect, then fewer people are moving. House prices are naturally going to drop because of supply and demand. And it was like, well, we've gone from flying things out to nothing happening. And you just have to learn to deal with that.
Resilience is the word, isn't it?
100%. I think the key to any of this, and I said this in the office the other day, is the only choice you've got is to go again, go again, go again, and go again. Not get too high, not get too low. And I think I think that speaks testament to why we're 80 years, and it's all well and good me saying this now in my sort of 10-year tenure, but 70 years before that, it'd have had to have been the same philosophy because it can be running your own business, it can be crap. You take a lot of stuff emotionally, you take a lot of stuff personally. I think it's only been the past couple of years where I've not, and it doesn't mean because I care any less, it's just I understand the nature of the beast now. But it can be really, and it can be lonely. I think that's one thing that everybody says, "Oh, I set up a business. I'm going to do all my own hours." I'm quite fortunate now that my hours are somewhat reduced to what they used to be. But I used to wake up at 7, work, go to work 8 till 5, 6, get back, eat my tea, work till 10. That was my life for five years or so, and it was a lot. And it just start to, you think, oh well, I've got to do it because I've got to do it. And then you start to feel it. You don't understand. You're putting yourself under stress. Um, but if you're passionate about something and you don't see it as work almost, and I think that's why I started in the first place. The money wasn't good. The money still isn't great. But it's not about that. It's the love of building something and seeing people succeed. And I think the problem that a lot of people have today, especially youngsters, is they see a lot of social media where it's if you've not got a Lamborghini by 18, you're failing, or if you're not a crypto trader. I mean, I've dabbled in crypto and that hasn't gone well. And it's not as easy as it's all made out. And I think there's a real joy, catharticism, and a lot of merit in running a good, strong local business where you're employing local people and serving a local community. And it might not be flashy, it might not be sexy, but there's a charm to it. And I think that's as I kind of get older and mature, and you're not so concerned with materialistic things. It's nice. It's nice to come into work. I couldn't ever imagine waking up on a Monday and going, I kind of get ready for a Monday. I'm thinking, get me into the office, have a break from home. So it's nice, and I'm very fortunate here that I just work with lovely people, and it's always contrived that it's a family, and it does make me wince a little bit when I say work family, but it really is. Everyone's got everyone's backs, and it's and everyone feels everything as well. If someone's going through something, everyone supports, and it's just lovely to see that you can kind of bring. So I think work's a strange place where you wouldn't hang around necessarily with certain people you work with. You'd never meet them, you wouldn't cross paths, but you spend the most time with them people. And I think as an owner, you want to improve someone's quality of life in the time they're spending with you, which is a lot. I joke, Haley, I've worked with for 10 years. I will have not spent any more time with any other person in the last 10 years. Even your family, your kids, they're at school. And I think it's really important that you get along and you have each other's back. And I'm very fortunate that that is the case here.
Brilliant. I'm just going to sum this up, Jack. I mean, I think that story you was told over the last 20 minutes or so is absolutely fantastic. So I'd just like to thank you so much for sharing that. Systems, team, vision. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean it's so nuanced. I try to. I'm not the best speaker. I'll be honest with you. I think when you do a lot of stuff yourself, it's in here and it's all it needs to be. So sometimes my communication is not. I know it's an area I want to improve on. But yeah, you could write a category. I mean, I think you can simplify stuff. I think customer service as well is paramount. The bar lowered considerably with AI. I know we spoke about this on the kind of pre-call, and I think it's like fashion and trends. Some things don't go out of fashion, and sorry, it's trend. It's like just look after people, treat them with courtesy, go that extra bit further. We're really conscious here. I kind of set up a fake budget, budget of serendipity, where it's like if you've got a client and they're going through something difficult, send them a bunch of flowers. Like it's not for me to. That's not a direct advertising ROI exercise. It's because we care and we want them to feel like we're on a journey together. And selling a house, it's very personable, it's very emotional, it's very long, and then after that, it's done. So if you can kind of improve that process for your clients, I think it's just treat people right, market consciously, market to the market you're in. Yeah, vision systems underpins that in terms of they should always enhance how people work, not them coming in and having friction within the workflows because of an antiquated system. That's an easy sort for me. It's get that in place, right? You can focus on the work that matters, not doing stuff. I mean, for example, when I came in, you'd have to write up and upload information about every property on every individual portal. Now it's one click of a button, boom, done. Why should that have ever been a case? An exercise which should take 2 minutes was taking an hour. And it's like, but that's not, there's no benefit in it taking any longer for any stakeholder within the business. Right, so now you've just won that time back to be able to scale. So instead of doing one house, you can effectively now do five in that time frame. So yeah, there's lots of things.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely brilliant. Jack, thanks so much for your time.
no problem.